We live in a world that absolutely praises independence. I mean, being called the strong one feels like a compliment, right? But here's the paradox. For so many people, that very strength is actually a silent wall, a reason you might feel this deep, crushing loneliness, even when you're not actually alone. And today, we're going to dig into exactly why that is. So let me just ask you straight up, are you too strong for your own good? I mean, if you're someone who prides yourself on never needing anyone, but you just can't shake that feeling of being on the outside looking in, well then, this is for you. We're about to unpack the psychology behind why your greatest strength might just be your biggest roadblock to real connection. So there's actually a term for this in psychology. It's called emotional self-reliance. Now, this isn't just about being capable. We're talking about a really deep-seated pattern where your independence becomes a fortress, and it makes genuine connection feel, well, almost impossible. And as we're going to see, it's usually a defense you learned a long, long time ago. Okay, so what does this actually look like in real life? We're going to break down 8 kind of subtle, silent signs that your independence is really a survival mechanism, and it might be the very thing that's keeping you lonely. As we go, just see how many of these feel a little too familiar. All right, let's start with sign number 1. This is maybe the most fundamental one of them all, and it's all about how you handle what's going on inside. You process everything internally. Think about it. Most close relationships are built on sharing what you're feeling, getting that comfort and reassurance. But you handle your stress, your sadness, your anger, all of it completely on your own. You don't call someone to vent, you don't reach out, you just manage it. And this quote just, wow, it nails the consequence perfectly. By the time you've worked through it all in your own head and you're finally ready to talk, the emotional heat of the moment is gone for everybody else. And what this does is it creates this gap, this constant distance where the people in your life feel like they can never, ever truly reach you. And that habit of doing everything internally, well, it leads us directly into the second sign, which is all about how you see your own needs. Do you find yourself saying things like, "Oh, I'm fine, I don't need much"? You almost never ask for a favor. You'd never dream of asking for a shoulder to cry on, and you definitely don't ask for help. This isn't just you being low maintenance, it's a deeply learned behavior. And this is so important. This comes from somewhere. If the support you got when you were younger wasn't there, or it wasn't reliable, your brain did something brilliant. It adapted. It taught you to minimize your needs to protect you from the pain of being let down. Your brain learned that it was just safer not to need anyone at all. Now, what's so fascinating about sign number 3 is that it's not about you, really. It's about how your self-reliance lands on the people around you. You see, human connection, it really thrives on mutual vulnerability, on needing each other just a little bit. So when you never show an emotional need, when you never ask for help, the people who care about you can start to feel, well, pretty useless. They want to be there for you, but you literally never give them an opening. And here it is. This is the heartbreaking result of that. Your complete self-sufficiency acts like this invisible force field, and eventually people just stop trying. Not because they don't care about you, it's because you have unintentionally sent a very clear message. There's no role for them to play here. There is no space for them to matter in your world. Okay, I know this all might be sounding a little heavy, but it is so important that we understand the why behind all of this. This is not a character flaw, not at all. It's actually a powerful and kind of accidental survival skill that you developed for a very, very good reason. Psychologists have a name for this too. They call it defensive self-reliance. And that word, defensive, is everything. You see, you didn't choose to be a lone wolf. This intense independence wasn't born from a desire to be alone, but from a necessity to survive. It's a protective shield your brain forged to keep you safe when it felt like you couldn't count on anyone else. And this core survival skill, it pops up in some other really specific ways. Like, you might value someone being reliable way more than you value warmth or emotional connection. That's often tied to something called alexithymia, which is just a fancy word for finding it hard to identify and describe your own feelings. Or maybe you're always the emotional caretaker, a role you probably learned as a kid to keep the peace. You also likely have an incredible radar for BS you see right through all the social noise, which is a gift, but it can make small talk feel exhausting. And finally, you probably can't stand the herd mentality. You stick to your guns, which is awesome, but it can also make you feel even more on the outside looking in. So, if you only take one thing away from this, let it be this. Your independence was a gift. It protected you, but you can't mistake a survival trait for your entire personality.
The goal isn't to get rid of your strength. No way. The goal is to redefine what being strong even means.
And this is what that redefinition looks like. It's a huge shift in perspective. See, on one side, you've got survival strength, handling everything alone. But healing strength, that's knowing when to ask for help. Survival strength never shows vulnerability. Healing strength finds the courage to share it. It's this beautiful pivot from only valuing reliability to actually embracing warmth and connection as the truest signs of strength. Just recognizing this pattern in yourself, that's the first, most powerful step you can take. It lets you see yourself not as someone who's broken, but as someone who's been carrying a weight that was never meant for you to carry all by yourself. So, just take a second. Think back over those 8 signs we talked about. How many of them really resonated with you? Recognizing yourself in this story is the first step to realizing, hey, I'm not alone in feeling this way, and more importantly, that there's another way to live. And I want to leave you with this final thought. This permission slip, really. Your strength got you here, and that's incredible. But you don't have to stay in that strong one role forever. You deserve to feel safe. You deserve softness. And maybe most of all, you deserve to give someone else the beautiful gift of letting them matter in your life.